Hi, it's Chris Watkin here from Landlord Farming. I'm with Peter Ambrose from the partnership. Uh, Peter, what are the three biggest mistakes estate agents make with conveyancers?
Um, I think they underestimate the first one is they underestimate the importance and the difference that a conveyancer can make to a transaction. I think secondly, they don't ask particularly good questions of conveyancers. They need to be sure they're asking the right questions at
What
the
sort
right
of
time.
questions are we talking?
In terms of what can they do to help? How can they contribute to the process? Can they help out? What answers can they help find out? And finally, I think they allow themselves to get too easily swayed sometimes by clients who can get quite excited on transactions, and they don't stop and think and say, what, from my experience, what's really going on here?
Okay, so those are the three mistakes. Let's look at them in a little bit more detail and exactly what agents can do to help the cause. Do you think agents get in the way? What could they be doing to make things better?
I wouldn't
I mean, you said about asking the right sort of
Yeah,
questions.
I wouldn't say they get in the way. I think that sometimes they can exacerbate situations. I think one of the most common things that we see at the moment is we need everybody to calm down, particularly at the moment. And I think what agents can do, when in terms of questions, is what can they do to help in terms of if they're not getting responses from the other side, if people aren't performing, if there are concerns, if their clients are getting excited. I think certainly by agents getting involved and calming everybody down, I think that's probably the best thing that they can do right now. They've got more experience. We had a client call up last week and they said, look, I want to move in 3 weeks. At that point, the agent can step in and say, realistically, this is not going to happen. And I think if agents took a bit more time, use their experience to say, look, we've seen this before, we know how long deals take, we know that problems can occur, then I think they've got more to contribute in that way.
You say about asking the right sort of questions. What sort of questions should they be asking?
They should be asking more detailed questions without stepping over the line in terms of, for example, when inquiries are raised, asking to see those inquiries. One of the things we like to do is we always send out copies of the inquiries so that they can see what's going on. And in that way, they can try and help if they're not getting the right responses from the other side to inquiries, for example, that might be raised. That's one area. Certainly sanity checking what is going on. So, for example, if someone says, I've got my mortgage offer, understanding that just because a client's got a mortgage offer doesn't necessarily mean that the lawyer's got the mortgage offer, because a lot of people assume that when an offer gets issued, that everyone's on the same page. So if the agent was then just to ask, well, has the lawyer got it? That's a really good way of sanity checking it, rather than just assuming that if the lawyer hasn't got it, then they've lost it or something's gone
You
straight.
said that asking the right sort of questions. What questions do you feel estate agents should ask the conveyancers in the chain?
I think they should ask for what particular roadblocks they see right now, or what do they anticipate. In particular, any issues further up the chain as well. We don't see agents really sort of following up and down the chain to get a whole view. So, for example, quite often we'll hear a situation whereby the client will say, "Well, I'm good to go. I'm ready." If the agent was just to turn around and say to all parties, both in the current transaction but also up the chain, simple things like, have you got a signed contract? Have you got a signed transfer? Do you actually have this? And checking on both sides of the deal, both on the buying side but also on the selling side.
Isn't that the solicitor's job to do?
It is the solicitor job, but so many times we have a situation where people will say, I'm ready to go, I'm good to exchange. Oh, I haven't got a signed contract yet. You'd be amazed at how many times people assume that everything is done, and yet the silly things like, for example, have you got the deposit? Oh yes, I'm going to get that. No, have you got it?
Do you think estate agents take too much at face value of what people
Yeah.
in the chain are doing?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that is probably the biggest area where they do need to take the time, and also to learn a little bit more about the process. We talk to a lot of agents, and the ones that we engage with, they want to know more about the process. They want to understand more, and I think where we see issues where the agent will say, "No, I'm not interested. I don't want to know about the process. No, I just need to know, is it ready to exchange yet?" and I think they need to be more proactive. I think they need to understand both credibility point of view from their clients, but also it will help them.
Maybe we could talk about that more in the next video.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.